I absolutely love this place. It's one of my favourite places to come. And I can't believe there's no one here. Oh, yes. While I've been waiting for my new Hilux to be built, I've still wanted to get out every single weekend camping, even without my good camping touring setup. It's been a struggle the past month though. There's no more good weather. It's been raining every single weekend, and I don't have an awning anymore. This vehicle's great. They've given me this vehicle to use until my new car's ready, so I'm very thankful for that. But I don't have my nice setup I had. So I don't have my awning, don't have my instant rooftop tent, nothing like that. So it's all back to basics. So I've gone out and bought a bunch of basic camping gear, just to show you don't need the best of everything to get out and enjoy the weekend. Now this is the first cheap thing that I bought. We're expecting rain again this weekend, like every weekend for the past month. So I was tired of the rain. So I don't have an awning. I can't set an awning up on that car. So I've gone out and bought a cheap 3x3 metre gazebo. So at least I have shelter from the rain. I'm not going to let the rain stop me from keep going out camping. Don't worry about this cardboard. I will be burning it all in the fire anyway. In case it does get windy and raining later on, I bought some sidewalls as well for the awning. Now the awning, I think was only 89 bucks. Sidewalls, 40 bucks each. Next thing is my stretcher to go on the swag. Now this was 100 bucks. Now you don't need this, but it's a nice creature comfort. Get you up off the cold ground, and hopping in and out of the swag as well. It's so much better, not having to hop up from the ground. And also it makes the swag overall more comfy as well. I definitely recommend getting a stretcher if you can. We've got a few more cars here now. I knew the piece of quite wouldn't last. It's a very popular spot. Doesn't matter, I still have this spot here all to myself, so I'm happy. Now, let's get a stretcher out. These are so easy to set up, I love it. Now just the two side poles. These side poles just slot straight in here. For a cheap stretcher, I'm actually really happy with the quality. I've used it probably 4 or 5 times now, and I don't have any issues with this at all. Pretty easy to set up. They're all reasonably annoying getting this pole here, the last pole in, but it's not too bad. There we go, do the other one. First pole is always the easy one. Let's see how much harder this one is. Now I did pay for all this stuff, none of this is sponsored, it's all out of my own money. I'm just trying to show you that cheap gear, nothing wrong with it. For someone that goes out a couple of times a year, or a couple of times a month even, you don't need the best of everything. Lock that straight in, done. When it comes to the swag, again, just a cheap Kings one. 89 bucks, you can't go wrong. I think I did pay extra for the bag, but I've slept in this swag probably, I don't know, close to 10 times now. I really love it. For a cheap budget swag, I haven't seasoned it, so I haven't tested it out in the rain. So that's why I'm happy I've still got this. But I'm sure if I seasoned it, I wouldn't have an issue. But it's comfy enough. It's not something you're sleeping every day. You're not traveling Australia in it. Why spend 500 bucks on a swag when 89 bucks will do you? Easy to set up too, probably 2 to 5 minute setup. Very basic, roll it out, your 2 poles on the sides, 1 pole through the middle, and you're done. Mattress is already in there, throw your bedding in, ready to sleep. One thing to remember, don't pack your swag bag away in your car. Leave it next to your swag at night time. That way when you go to bed, you've got somewhere to stand on, take your shoes off, you're not going to get your socks muddy. You don't have to bring your shoes into the swag either, smelling your swag out. Throw your shoes in the bag. It's going to keep spiders, scorpions, everything out. They'll keep nice and dry in the morning too. Plus in the morning you can hop out, put your feet down, and you're, again, not touching mud, keeping your socks nice and dry. The next budget item I bought was the Kings sleeping bag. The reason I bought this, I used to run them when I had my Kings rooftop tent, and I still rate these as one of the best sleeping bags I've ever used. I think they're 129 bucks, so it's more than the swag itself, but it's definitely worth the money. They've got a 2-layer, there's an outer and an inner layer, removable inner layer, which is flannelette, if it's still the same as what it used to be. And the thing I love about flannelette, no matter how cold it is at night time, you can jump in that and it's warm instantly. Now this is rated at -5 degrees. Now I wouldn't rely solely on this sleeping bag. No matter what sleeping bag you get, don't always rely on just one sleeping bag. Bring a spare blanket just in case, because you never know how cold it's going to get. And at time, you can never go back to home to grab another blanket, so you might as well have it with you, even if you don't need it. Now I forgot to mention the reason that inner layer is removable, so it can be a summer or a winter sleeping bag. So in summertime you just remove the inner layer and you've got a nice cool sleeping bag. In wintertime, put that flannelette layer back in and you've got a nice warm sleeping bag for winter. Ooh, they've actually improved the quality of the bag that comes with this sleeping bag. Now they've always come with a bag, that's another really good thing I liked about them. But one of the best things about these, they come with the left or right. This one's a left zipper. And if you buy the left and the right together, you can actually zip them together and have one big sleeping bag. So you can have two people in it. You can cuddle up. Great for rooftop tents or the Big Daddy Deluxe swag as well. Yes, I can confirm the sleeping bag still has a removable inner layer, so it's still just as good as it used to be. Another tip for beginner campers, when you're setting up your swag, always put your pillow up the highest end. You want your head up the highest end and the blood flow in your body going down towards your feet at night, otherwise you wake up with a headache after about 10 minutes trying to sleep. Typically when I go camping each weekend I bring my Weber barbecue that I cook on. Like this weekend I didn't bring it. The only way I'm going to be able to cook at camping is with this King's fire pit. So I've got the King's grill and the fire pit. So every single meal we're going to be cooking is over the fire. I actually didn't realise it come with a bag. That's actually pretty cool. Now, I had a Drifter fire pit very similar to this. I had the full setup with the table around it, the tripod, everything, the heat shields and that. It was worth $800. It was an awesome fire pit. But unfortunately when I moved from South Australia to WA, I couldn't fit it in my Hilux. And it would cost probably more to freight it over here than the whole thing is worth. So I don't need to spend a lot of money. I haven't got a lot of money at the moment. I'm buying a brand new car. So trying to build that car, it doesn't leave me with a lot of money. So this is one of the reasons I had to buy budget gear. But it still gets me out there. Now I've been using Adventure Kings gear for 7 years now, from when I first got the Hilux. And from that photo there, you'll see I spent probably, I don't know, $5,000 I reckon. I bought everything the Kings had on the website and decked the whole Hilux out with everything full drive Super Center. And I loved it. I got it every weekend and it lasted me. I didn't care. It was budget gear. It comes with a warranty. Who cares if something breaks occasionally? It's got a warranty. You take it in, replace it, done. But someone that doesn't travel full time, I don't see a point in spending top dollar on everything. There are some items that I would recommend you only buy good quality, especially if you're doing remote touring. But for stuff like this, where you're just going out for a weekend, quality isn't really an issue. The reason I love these fire pits, they're so much easier to set up than the fire pits that slot together. Quite often after 2 or 3 goes, they'll warp. Now I've tried 3 or 4 different brands of those slotted fire pits, and no matter what quality I've gone, after 3 or 4 goes, they all warp, and then you struggle to get them to lock in and out of each other. So I don't use them. I keep them at home. I've got one with a rotisserie, and that was awesome just for use at home. But for taking camping, you can't beat this style here. It's just instant pack up. Now, it's good. This one comes with a base. It makes it a lot more stable. You can actually lock the feet in. But the one thing it is missing that would make it perfect, the Drifter one, underneath your base here, it actually had 2 more legs that would cross in and lock each other like that, which actually raised the base off the ground as well. So if you get hot coals come down here and land on here, some caravan parks and that won't allow you to have anything that's touching their grass. You can't have hot coals heating up their grass and burning their grass. So if it's just raised up another 5 centimeters off the ground just to protect the grass, it'd be awesome. But with the price of that, I love it. I think I'm going to be using this quite often. I'll let you know how it goes down the track, but I don't think I'm going to upgrade. I'll just stick with this cheap fire pit for now. I bought the grill and the fire pit as a combo for $98. You can't beat that in price. The grill also come with this charcoal plate as well. Now I have seen reviews, this powder coat on here, it's not heat proof, so it will rust away the first time you use it, but who cares? All it's got to do is support the coals. So that just rests in there, raises up your coals. If you want to use charcoal, I would recommend, if you're just cooking on here, charcoal is probably best, especially if you're doing it under an awning or a gazebo like this. You don't want big flames under an awning. So charcoal is perfect. We've done that plenty of times in the past, and it heats up so much quicker than waiting hours for coals. You can get a charcoal starter, just a round tube. You put a little bit of fire underneath it with some fire starters. Within 10 minutes, you've got hot charcoal. Just tip in here, and you got your fire ready to cook on straight away. So much bloody quicker for cooking. We're not doing charcoal today. We've got plenty of wood. We're just going to cook with wood. This is the grill that comes with it. Now this is the same. They're all the same. There's that many brands that make the same sort of fire pit. They've got 3 different levels there, so different heat levels. Just lock your legs in the side. like that, and that's it. If you want to lower it down for more heat, just lower it down. This is removable if you want to top it up, access the fire. They're a bit of a pain to clean, they'll never look the same again, but I love cooking on these, they're good fun. What meals do you remember cooking in the microwave at home? But every single meal you ever cook around the fire, you'll remember it, especially getting kids involved. Kids love it as well, it's a great family thing to do. One more thing I'd recommend buying is a cheap pair of welding gloves as well. If you have to move the fire, if it starts raining or anything like that, and you have to move it across, there's no way you can touch these fires, so you will need a pair of gloves. Also, when it comes time to putting it out, there's actually a warning label on here, but it's pretty obvious. Don't pour a bucket of water straight over it. You will risk warping the fire pit. Now, these never warp as much as the slotting ones do, but they will warp slightly. So simply just wait for your coals to cool down, or while it's hot, have your gloves on, tip your coals out, wait 10 minutes, and the fire pit will be cool enough to pack away anyway. Cardboard's always a good way to start a fire. I normally wouldn't use it, but I've got plenty to burn at the moment, so got to use it up. The secret thing I use, cotton balls and Vaseline or petroleum jelly. So I start all my fires. So you only need a couple of cotton balls. Just one at a time. Perfect little firelighter. Just dip it in the Vaseline and putting the Vaseline on it, it'll burn for up to 5 minutes. So plenty of time to get the fire going. Now I'd normally use a ferro rod to start my fire too, but I can't find half my stuff at the moment. I'm used to having everything packed in my Hilux ready to go all the time. I think the last 3 or 4 times I've gone camping, I've forgotten something every single time. I'm just, not used to having everything there, easy access. Alright, that's plenty. So that will light reasonably easy. Do that straight away. I'll throw a couple of really small ones on first. Now, try and build smaller stuff around it. Don't smother it, otherwise it'll go out really quickly. One thing these fire pits probably should have is more ventilation down the bottom. They got your holes on the sides here, but no real ventilation at the bottom to really feed that fire. But that'll get going anyway. Then we get some nice hot coals to start cooking. That's actually a good tip. Don't buy the fire lighters in Woolies and everything else. It's like 10 bucks for a tiny little packet which lasts you 2 or 3 fires. This huge bag here is only a couple bucks, and the Vaseline is like 5 bucks as well. And look how many fires that'll last. If I only use 5, and there's probably like 100 or more in here. That's a heap of fires. If you're really desperate, you could cook on that right now, but I'd much rather cook with coals, so I'm going to wait a while. But it is bloody freezing. This is nice and warm, so it's past 12 o'clock now. Oh, it's 11:59, so close enough to 12 o'clock. Oh, time to get a drink and sit around the fire and warm up. Oh, finally I can hear black cockatoo. There it is. Love black cockatoo. Oh, it's right above us. Oh, 2 of them. Oh, red tail too. Oh, I love the sound. Black cockatoos, don't get them in South Australia. It just makes camping so worthwhile. The wildlife out here is just incredible. Now, I don't have a 12 volt anymore. I had a 12 volt in my old Hilux. I've got that same 12 volt going back into the new Hilux. But for the last 3 or 4 months and for the next couple of months, I've got no 12 volt at all, so no fridge. So I've been getting by with this cheap Dune 4-wheel drive, I think. So it's done me fine. It's supposed to be an ice box which lasts 5 days with ice, but that's not true. At least with bagged ice anyway. So the trick I've found, move one of my drinks. I don't buy bagged ice anymore. I got 10 of these little 600ml water bottles. I just fill them with water, keep them in the freezer a couple of days before I go camping, and that keeps everything cold the whole weekend. I'll get home and they're still completely frozen when I get home. And you just reuse them, throw them back in the freezer the next week. Rather than paying for ice each week, that's so much better. And it keeps everything so cold. It's bloody awesome. There they are again. So peaceful. Another thing I used to bring, I like Johnnie Walker when I'm camping. In summertime I'll drink beer. In winter when it's cooler, I'll drink my Johnnie Walker. Now I used to bring it in bottles, but it's too much of a risk. You go full driving, you're gonna smash that bottle, and that's like $70 to $100 for a bottle, just wasted. So I bought this, standard squeeze. None of the products here are sponsored, I paid for it all. You simply crack that one there, give it a squeeze, fill it up to where you want it, 30 mils. Take a little sip out of your drink. At least you know you're not going to break this when you're driving. And you know exactly how much you're putting in your drinks. I think that cost me around $50. It's expensive for something you'd normally use with your 2-stroke oil, but it works and I love it. For the first half hour or so when you're lighting your fire, just don't throw big logs on straight away. Just progressively get bigger. Otherwise it'll go out in no time. Now when it comes to camp chairs, there's nothing wrong with spending $20 on a camp chair if you only go out once every couple months. I wouldn't recommend spending any more than that, but I go out every single weekend, so it's one thing that I do recommend, that I buy a good quality camp chair. Now this is excessive for most people. This cost me $300. No one needs to spend $300 on a camp chair. That is way, way more than you need to spend. But the reason I bought it is because of the quality and because of the packed down size. This takes up no room in my car at all, whereas a standard camp chair is double the length and twice as wide as well. So when you're dealing with room in your canopy and weight, because this is very light as well, every inch and every kilo matters. This comes with its own disadvantages as well though. Your typical camp chair, you just pull it out of the bag and instantly just fold it out like a gazebo and it's there ready to go. This has more involved work to get it ready, because it comes in 2 parts. Your frame is like a skeleton. You have to actually, it's all held in with elastic bands, but you have to lock in every single leg first. So it's not very practical, but for me, with the canopy, it's definitely what I need. So there's your base, and then this simply slots in for each of the holes. So everyone else would already be sitting around the campfire while I'm still here setting up my chair. Another huge disadvantage to the hiking style chairs, because they're so light. This only weighs probably 2 kilos. One previously was 1.2 kilos. You've got to be very careful around fires. Every time you get up from the fire, I've already lost a chair to fires. You get up, you completely forget about it. You walk away and you get a gust of breeze come through and it blows straight into the fire. Whereas a standard chair won't do that as easy. This is just so light, any kind of breeze just tips it straight over. And now it does come with a peg and a little tie down, but that's quite annoying. Quite often I might put a piece of firewood in the chair, or if I've got anything around me, I'll just throw it in the chair. Sometimes I've even used the bag itself. I fill it with sand if I'm down the beach, or rocks, whatever I can find, or wood. As I'm assembling the chair, the hook here, I'll actually hook around the chair as I'm setting it up, which holds it down as well. One thing that really grinds my gears is other content creators who try and push the message that you have to buy once, buy right. You've got to buy this top quality gear because they've been given it by sponsors and paid to sell it. They want you to buy this top of the range stuff. But fair enough, if you're traveling full time or go out every weekend, yes, you buy good quality gear. But if you're just someone just getting into it and you don't even know if you like camping yet, why spend all your money on this top quality gear when you might not even like the outdoors? You might get there the first night. I go camping alone every weekend, but most people when they go camping the first time, they're terrified when it comes night time. They want to go home, they want to pack up, they can't do it. So why waste all that money? Buy the cheaper gear to start with, see if you even like it. Like, don't buy everything, just buy the basics like this. If you enjoy it the first few times, maybe even wait a year. If you are really enjoying it and you want to get into it more often, then slowly over time buy better quality gear. But nothing wrong with starting out like this. You don't have to be the best of the best. I could have spent hundreds on axes and hatchets. $75 from Bunnings. Read the reviews first, do your research, read the reviews online. People will tell you, they're honest in the reviews, if it's good or not. Same as my camp table. I think it cost me like $50 from Bunnings as well. You can buy tables for $500, but why? Why do you need to spend $500 on a camping table? With my channel, I have been very fortunate. I've collaborated with over 50 companies over the past 5 years that I've had the YouTube channel. So I've been very lucky. And there's some good quality brands that I collaborate with and some budget brands. I don't corner myself to one section of the market. Everyone has their own budget and not everyone can afford the best of the best. So I do quality gear reviews and I do budget gear reviews. I try and cater for everybody. Once my car is ready, I'll be going out and filming another video on the top quality gear that I wouldn't go cheap on as well, because there is some gear I wouldn't skimp on quality. For example, when it comes to 12 volt gear, for the last 4 or 5 years I've collaborated with Red Arc and always run Red Arc 12 volt gear in my car, and I love it. I wouldn't skimp with 12 volt. 12 volt has to be reliable. It's got to last you, especially if you're doing remote touring. You can't afford for it to fail you down. Especially if you're doing remote touring, it can't fail. You're a fridge full of food. You don't have a backup esky with ice in it. If that fridge goes, your food's gone. You need a good quality 12 volt. In saying that though, when it comes to the 4Drive Supercenter Adventure Kings batteries, lithium batteries. Now, I've run a different higher quality lithium battery setup in my car, but I still had issues with a good quality brand. So I've heard nothing but good reviews on those Adventure Kings lithium batteries. So this time I'm only running 2 300 ampere Adventure Kings lithium batteries in that canopy setup. I started out with everything in my car from 4Drive Supercenter, and no matter how many times I upgrade cars, I will always continue to run some of their gear. I'm so thankful no one has destroyed this. I found this is where I camped when I first come across from South Australia to WA. This was actually in one of my videos. I occasionally come across these little huts that people build, and it's just incredible. And yeah, I'm just so thankful that no one has destroyed it. I love exploring the bush when I go camping. It's one of the fun things that's really good to do, especially with kids. I think every single campsite I ever go to, I try and go for a walk somewhere and try and find something new. There's another campsite about an hour the other direction of where I live. This campsite here is about a 45-minute drive from my home. It's one of my favourites because it's got lilies everywhere, the whole campsite. There's probably like 10 sites like here. There's 10 campsites all really close together. That's actually one thing I miss about South Australia, is that the campsites were like 500 metres apart. There was like 30-40 campsites in the national park and they were all like 500 metres apart, so you had privacy. There's 10 metres between a campsite here. You've got no privacy at all. So I do miss that about South Australia. But yeah, this other campsite is every campsite, you just in every direction. The whole bush is just lilies everywhere. Now they're a pest here, a weed, but it's so beautiful in winter time. You can't help but just love the bush here. All the trees have moss growing over them. It's just, so beautiful. This whole tree is covered in moss. Can you imagine being here just after it's rained and the whole thing is wet? It's just magical here. The bush here is so different to the bush in South Australia. One thing I do like about these campsites though, there's always a pile of scrap wood here. You're free to help yourself to the firewood. Each campsite has its own fire pit and tables. And there's also long drop toilets here as well. So each of these campsites has long drop toilets. Another handy tip, if you don't have a full-time setup in your car for camping gear, have a camping bag or a camping box ready to go with all your cooking gear, cleaning up gear, everything handy, easy access, ready to go at home, just throw straight in the car. Another thing that definitely don't forget, garbage bags. Always take your rubbish with you. There's a heap of rubbish here that I'm going to have to clean up that other idiots have left. I hate when people do this. I'm going to sit down for another hour or so, wait for more coals to build up, and then cook my lunch. Another tip when choosing a campsite location, gum trees are absolutely beautiful, and you might think camp under it, you get nice shade. They are deadly to camp under. So many people have died from camping under gum trees. Now you think on windy days they drop their leaves, but quite often it's on still days like this they'll drop their big branches and they'll crush cars. So it's not safe. Try and camp away from a gum tree if you can. Luckily the department that looks after these campsites keeps these well maintained, so all the big branches that could fall over a campsite are trimmed off, so you're in no danger at these campsites. You will need to move logs around on the fire too, so it's good to keep a little shovel with you as well. You'll see all the full drivers, so you need a full-size shovel with you on your roof rack with the expensive mounts and everything else, but they take up so much room. This actually folds up. You actually fold this up into like 5 different pieces. You can buy them for like 30-40 bucks online. So cheap as, good use if you've got to go to the toilet out bush too, so always come in handy. One thing with the fire, always carry a bucket with you as well. Either have a water source nearby or have water with you so that you can extinguish the fire when you're done. Never leave a hot fire when you leave. Another question a lot of people have when they're first starting out camping is, what about toilets? I'd recommend finding a campsite like this one that's got toilets available. If you're somewhere that doesn't have toilet facilities, the minimum you can do, blokes, is buy this for your partner. Now this is the absolute minimum. Fold out chair, this goes, clips straight onto it. There's a garbage bag that goes on here, hangs down, do your business and you bury it. Blokes, it's really hard to get your partner to go camping if you don't provide a toilet. Not many of them will go camping. They got to have some luxuries, otherwise they won't do it. But preferred is you bring a chemical toilet with you. Now I've got a canvas bag for mine, so it's nice and protected. It doesn't look ugly in the car. It lives in my canopy full time. I've got a shower awning, so I've got privacy. I can have the toilet in there, I can have a shower, or you can get changed. Plenty of privacy. You can buy a portable shower tent as well, because you want privacy. You're not going to bring a toilet and not be able to, in the open, go in the toilet. So you need some sort of privacy. At least with a chemical toilet, you do your business, you take it home, you don't take it to a dump point, you're not leaving it in the bush. If you had to bury that in the bush, you're leaving a plastic bag buried under the ground. Whereas you go to a dump point, all your waste is going to a dump point. Adding to that, don't buy your normal home toilet paper. There's special biodegradable toilet paper you can use for camping that'll dissolve in your chemical toilet. Now I've got the cast iron frying pan on there. The reason is I want to cook my veggies in some garlic butter. So I scoop out a good section of garlic butter. Our veggies are soaking in that. I've got some broccolini. That's just zucchini. Nice and easy. And these just soak up the garlic butter. Ah, beautiful. Throw on a couple of chops. Garlic salt. Never have too much garlic salt. I love garlic. And we'll go some of that Italian herbs. Now I'm a terrible cook, I openly admit that. I ruin everything I cook. This is why I leave the cooking videos to Harry. But when you're camping, it's actually really fun. You look forward to cooking over the campfire. And who cares if you mess it up? It's just fun doing it. You learn from it each time and you get better and better over time. Anyone can do it. It's just my favourite thing to do while camping. Oh, how good does that look? You can't mess up chops and veggies. I'm going to kick back now, enjoy my lunch, and have another drink. Oh yes. Oh, I've been looking forward to this. Oh, veggies are so soft. Oh, that garlic just infuses in it. It's beautiful. Another good tip for cleaning up, especially after eating chops with your hands. Baby wipes. Now, paper toweling is obvious. You always bring paper toweling with you, but baby wipes gets all the oil off, and even your dishes. This is one of the secrets that I do all the time when I'm traveling on the road. Probably once a day or once every couple of days, I wash the dishes properly. But besides that, baby wipes, and then go over it with a paper towel afterwards, get any residue off. and they come up like new again. That's a bloody awesome idea. Saves heating water up every single time just to do a couple dishes. The more shortcuts you can find for everything while camping, the more you enjoy it. If pack up and set up and everything else in between is just a hassle each time you go, after a couple of times you're just going to get sick of it and you're not going to go anymore. So the quicker you can make everything by finding these little shortcuts, the more you're going to enjoy it, the more you're going to get out there. After cooking, make sure you use a wire brush to clean your grill. It's easier to do it while it's still hot. And then you can pull it off the fire. Once it cools down, then you can go over it with baby wipe, paper towelling, whatever you want. Just give it a quick run over with that first to get off all the oil and all the stuck on residue. If you do buy cast iron cookware, just beware, it is a lot heavier than your standard frying pans. It does require a bit of extra care as well. You've got to season it when you first start, and then each time you use it and clean it, what I do is just get a bit of spray oil, cooking oil, and just give it a quick spray before you put it away in its bag. That way you know it's not going to rust over time. You would have seen me do that with a knife before as well. I use special knives that you need to take extra care with. That way your gear is going to last for years to come. There's a couple of last things I would recommend taking with you when you go camping, especially if you're alone. Never go out without a first aid kit. This is a survival first aid. I've been running this for 4 or 5 years now in the canopy. I don't go anywhere without it. A snake bite kit. No matter what time of the year it is, I still have one in the car, always ready. And the basics. Don't have a 12-volt system, doesn't matter. You got your Esky power banks. It's as simple as that. You can charge your phone, anything else you need to charge. It's all you need. It'll even charge your lights. Just buy cheap, simple lights. This is a photography light that I put on tripods, but you can buy cheap camping ones that are magnetic. You can stick to anything. But in wintertime, you don't need a lot of lighting. You got the fire, which throws out so much light at night time when you've got it stoked, and the occasional light to go to the toilet or something like that, but you don't need that much lighting. Cooking, you might not need a bit of lighting for that, but don't get caught up in the hype that you need everything and the best of everything. Just enjoy being outdoors. If you're still watching this far into the video, thank you, you're bloody awesome. I hope you enjoyed the tips that I've tried to help you with today. This is just for beginners. I really enjoy getting out every single weekend and filming camping videos. It's my passion, that's what I do. I work all week, every weekend I'm outdoors. If you've got any more questions camping related at all, just either leave a comment or send me a message on Instagram even. I reply to every single person, I'm always there to help. If you've enjoyed the video guys, leave a like. If you think there's a friend that might enjoy this type of content as well, share it to them. I hope this video does help some people. If you haven't already, consider subscribing. I'm going to make lots more of this content. But thanks for watching this video guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers! These are so easy to set up, I love it. Now just the 2 side poles. Really? That's a heap of fires. Oh, smoke, gotta love it.